What's going on, everyone? It is Coach Greg Adams back in here with another podcast. And I want to welcome each and every one of you to my first podcast here on iTunes. And I really thank you guys for checking us out and listening to what we have to say. And when I say we, that is me and my inner voice. This is something that I've been wanting to do for quite a while. And the reason why I've been wanting to do it is because it's just the information that I have inside of me. People that I know always tell me, write a book. You need to write a book about your story, because my story has taken a lot of twists and turns. And just like a lot of the people here that are listening to this information, your life has gone through a lot, and how you react to it is what takes you to the next step. If you're able to take that next step and elevate, that is obviously ideally in what you want to do. Now, to start where my story starts is a video that I produced called From Hardwood to Homeless to Hardbody. Now, that video was produced about 2 years ago, and it basically told the story of how I became a coach and followed my dream job. Now, my job was as a women's basketball coach, and I started coaching at the age of 18. And at that particular time, my career goal was to be a high school coach. It wasn't until I met college coaches for the first time that I wanted to change my career aspirations to be a college basketball coach. And a lot of people told me, man, that's impossible, man. You're not going to be a college basketball coach. You don't have college playing experience. How is it possible that you're going to be a college basketball coach? Well, I still thought it was a possibility, and I worked myself all the way up to be a top Division I assistant basketball coach. Now, that was great, but I wanted to be a head coach, and it took a while for me to get that position. But once I got it, I was very happy. I was excited for the challenge, and I put a lot of energy and time and effort into developing the program that I was first given. Now, it was a Division II program, but I did not care. I was going to make that program work and go to the next level. Unfortunately, the job that I did was not enough. In fact, it was probably the worst thing a head coach could do. I went winless. No games won during my third season. Now, once you hit that mark, it was pretty much no going back. And I chose to change my career aspirations to be a fitness trainer, a strength and conditioning specialist. But in order to do that, I had to set myself back. And at that particular time, I had a family with 2 kids and a wife. So I chose to step back. And in order to do that, I had to sacrifice my home and move my children to another place with my then wife and move to California, where I was from, and live in my car. And that's exactly what I did for 6 months until I built my clientele to the point where I can bring my family back. It was a complete success. I did it. I pieced it together, and it was an amazing experience. And a lot of the stories that I'm going to talk to you guys about are about me living in my car every day, doing what it took to sacrifice to get myself back to where I wanted to be. And that's why we call this Bounce Back. Now, when you continue with this story, there's going to be even more twists and turns. There's going to be how my family came back to California and we tried to get back to square one. The problem was we didn't get back to square one, and eventually led me into a divorce. I did not plan that, and I like to plan a lot of the aspects of my life, but that was another setback, a great setback in a short amount of time. 2 young children now going through a divorce in a new area when I was trying to get our family back to square one. At that point, We're going to continue on, but the first few podcasts are going to deal with the first part, leaving the career job, setting myself back, sacrificing to make it to the point where I am today. Getting out of that car, making the trips around to establish myself while not having a home. When you talk about being homeless, a lot of people conjure up a lot of images in their mind. Maybe it's someone on the street panhandling. Maybe it's someone on the street maybe suffering from mental illness. Or maybe someone who is down and out and can't make it. Someone who doesn't have a home. However, that wasn't my predicament. I wasn't homeless in that sense. What I was houseless. My house was my car. Now, I was not too far away from being what people understand what homeless is. However, I was just as close to being just like everyone else who had a roof over their head. Now, I want everyone to take a few minutes, go through the podcasts that I have here, and follow this story. Because my story is not unlike a lot of people in this world. You go through a setback and you find your way back to where you want to be. I always believe that sometimes you have to take a step or two back to ascend to a higher level, especially if when you're making a significant change in your life. In my case, I had a lot of changes in a short amount of time. And if you're not a strong individual, you will have no problem finding yourself in a major hole and not being able to get out of it. Where I am now is not exactly where I want to be, because I always try to ascend to a higher level. But where I am now, I am very appreciative. It is a place that I always wanted to be. It is what I asked for. And now that I'm here, I offer my story to you. Maybe you're in the same predicament. Maybe you know someone who's in the same predicament. But where I am now is where someone else would love to be. And I want to help that individual get to that place. No matter what has happened to you, you can get there. You can bounce back. Thanks for joining me on my initial podcast, and I will see you again at the next one. Peace.